Well, hello there, and welcome to She Sparks, a moment with and about the power of she. She is an acronym for social, health, and economic equity. The power of she was birthed out of the U.S. Coalition of Black Women Businesses. My name is Anita Russell, and I am the founder and CEO of The Place to Soar, a social enterprise dedicated to daily growth and personal transformation. I am also the VP of the U.S. Coalition of Black Women Businesses, and I am here with the absolutely amazing Deetra Hellberg. Deetra is the president and CEO of Hellberg Electrical Supply, and she is the founder and president of the U.S. Coalition of Black Women Businesses. So, Deetra, let's get this conversation started. Why don't you
Okay.
start by telling us who you are and why you created the coalition?
Well, I'm Deidre Hellberg. I've been in business for 28 years. Well, actually 29 years. And this month we're celebrating for Hellberg Electrical Supply 20 years of being in business. And through that journey, as a Black woman in a space where it's dominated by white men, and also just through networking and everything, there was just a void for us as Black women, to hear us, to take us seriously. And it didn't make a difference what industry we were in, but we needed our space to talk about some of the things that we were dealing with that only we understood. And so, as of years of networking, it just became more apparent. And then once COVID hit, it was like really exposed all the stuff that we were talking about the disparity that takes place in the United States. And so here we go. Let's do this. Let's talk about our health. Let's talk about our social. Let's talk about our businesses. Let's talk about what we've known all along. This is not new. It's new to them, but it's not new to us. And then, how are we going to network, empower one another, do business with one another, love with one another, and not let it just be a cliche, a copy and paste type of thing, and make that serious change. And one of the most important things that I realize is we're all going through the same thing. We all have that her story, she story. However, we're not empowering each other through love. And Black women need to know that they are valued. They're precious. They're rare, just like that black diamond that we have as a logo. That's who we are. We're powerful, we're strong, and we illuminate so much, And as a woman of God, I just feel, you know, the best is yet to come. If we love one another and empower one another, it helps so much, and we can grow.
Excellent, Deetra. Let's talk a little bit about 2020. We know that 2020 was a monumental year on so
Yeah.
many levels. I have a tendency to look at 2020 as an inflection point. And
Yeah.
it was an inflection point in the sense that the arc of
Mhm.
social life, the arc of economic life began to shift a little bit. So when you think about the major things in 2020, the pandemic, obviously, and the murder of George Floyd. So for
Mhm.
me, that was an inflection point in time. So how do you see that time period as it relates to the U.S. Coalition of Black Women Businesses?
It just exposed what we already knew
Mhm.
in reference to the disparities. I mean, COVID brought out so many struggles, injustice of, first of all, let's acknowledge human life. Okay. We lost so many people. The only thing that we had in common in COVID was all in lockdown. The world was on lockdown. But then there was just this uh separation. You have the things going on with who got the bailouts, like the banks, versus, the folks who actually, got some of the stimulus checks and still struggling. All it's just so much controversy about everything. And then, the awareness and with Floyd's death, that was just a horrible thing, but not new to the Black community. This is not new to us. We live a certain way of awareness every day. And then, like, I would say, as a business owners, or those of us who are business owners, we had our struggles, and everyone has their struggles, but we had our struggles where you got Black professionals that are now struggling, trying to keep their homes and things like that, and then you have people that would use us once again as a marketing tool. You know, every time you turn around, your stats about Black women businesses, entrepreneurs, and all of this. Yeah, you and I have been on calls with some of these Fortune 100 companies and Fortune 500 companies with the board, and what they say, oh, well, can we just, they wanted to market us. They
Yes.
were really trying to, really trying to assist where people are going to be able to get contracts. There's always these different barriers, even when it comes to, you know, I wake up every day, we wake up every day, human, Black, woman, business owners. But then even with these MWBE certifications and all of that, the barriers, all of the extra paperwork that non-certified firms don't even have to fill out. Even some of the different corporations, they have portals, and there will be two different set of portals. There's this author, I can't think of his name, but he wrote this book called The Black Tax. Okay.
Yes.
And that is a reality. You know who I'm talking about. And that is a reality. So everything we do or try to do, there's always a barrier, and they don't see it. And the other thing is, they're not even paying attention to our community looking at them. And I'm not saying all of them, I'm not saying that at all. But there are a few who are running around with hatred, and they're not looking and thinking that the Black and brown community is looking at them as insecure men. They don't see that. They don't see that. And even with that entitlement, you can't even see that we can imagine that. Sometimes I've been in a couple of places where they didn't even realize that we are businesses until we start talking business. We have the same concerns. We pay the same taxes. We go the same uh, issues as anybody else. There's that curve. We're up and down. Those of us that are still in business through COVID are fortunate. You have large companies that went bankruptcy and everything else. This hurts everybody. It hurts the economy. It hurts our employees. It hurts us as business owners. But, it's part of a new chapter. I mean, everyone has something that they are going through. And so how do we move forward? And that's what we're here to talk about, right? Yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely. So you and I got connected
right.
rather serendipitously, if you
Yes.
will, because you reached out to me
Mhm.
as a potential coaching client.
Right.
And we went through that process, which was what, back in 2019? I think that was back in
2019. Yeah.
2019. But the relationship didn't end when the coaching ended.
Right.
And so the relationship began to grow over the course of time.
Right.
And we began to discover that there were so many commonalities between the
Yes.
two of us. And once COVID hit, and you had already, so by that time the coalition was already in existence,
Right.
right? And
Just
now
started.
I've gotten pulled in because I'm just, I liked everything that you stood for, and it was aligned with what I stood for. And so I always look at the COVID time period as, that old saying, you can just sweep things under the rug, right?
Right.
But eventually, all you end up with is a dirty, lumpy rug.
That's
And when
right.
that rug got pulled up, that's when you could see all of the disparity.
Right.
You could see. So, in a way, COVID was horrible,
Right.
right? But the one thing that came out of COVID was that exposure. And that
Yes.
exposure needed to happen,
Right.
right?
Right.
That
Right.
exposure definitely needed to uh, um, to happen. So why don't we kind of take a look at, I'm trying to be very mindful of our time as well. Just very briefly, if you could talk about what was your origin story when it comes to the coalition? Like all of these things were going on, but what was that one spark that said we need to have this in place?
Well, with the exposure um, that we knew, that was great because it dismantled what we went through. And also, they're a woman, they're complaining all the time. No, this is real. Our mental health is real. Our being is real. The things that we've gone through business, the barriers, all of that is real. All of that is real. And so for me, it was like, okay, look, we're all business professionals. We have economic equity within our community. We need to start networking with one another, empowering with one another. And it wasn't enough of that, and then also educating others to take us seriously as business owners, right? And that we're capable and that we can scale up or can scale up because that's another barrier. Oh, they don't have the capacity, they don't have this. But when you constantly are being told, and there's barriers to paperwork or whatever they want to use to say, we don't need to use you, and then say you should be fine with it. That's a problem.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the
yeah.
problem, right? And
Yes,
and
yes.
and so through the supply chain, then later on they go, well, we can't find anybody who can do that. No, they are there. We are here, and the ones who were able to sustain. But a lot of those tactics, whether you're dealing with government or what have you, you know, it's a barrier that put people out of business. The same type of programs, well, I hate to use that word programs, but that's what it turned into. People have this thing that if you are certified, that you're getting some type of handout. No, no, you're not. I don't feel, once I showed you, when you look at me, you see, what do you see? Okay. But every time we go to do anything, you have to fill that out. And then truthfully, you don't have to be certified in order to do business with any government. You really don't. And so that's also the myth, and that's the play. Oh, you must be certified. But where's my paperwork going? Who is protecting us? And
Mhm.
so I'm hearing from across the nation, they're not happy with the results of what's going on of these initiatives or programs that they say are MWBEs, that's going to help them. you know I mean, I was at a conference not too long ago, and the woman says, well, she's looking at me straight in the eye, and she goes, as an MBE, you need to be certified. So now I'm not even human, I'm not even a Black woman, I'm an MBE. I mean, they don't even realize what they're saying.
Right, right, right. And
It's just innate in that.
right, and you and I have talked about that whole certification thing. It's like I have to certify that I'm actually Black.
Right, right,
And I think a lot of what you're alluding to is how deeply ingrained and systematic and institutionalized these
right,
practices are, that the person who creates them, implements them, is completely blind to the real impact and
right.
what the underlying messages actually are. So I want to switch the conversation up a little bit, because we have a whole list of calls to action, but we're going to call out one of our calls to action
Mhm.
right now, and that is the collaboration and networking aspect
Yes,
of the U.S. Coalition for Black Women Businesses. We foster that collaboration among Black woman-owned businesses. We create a supportive network. So let's share with our audience a little bit more about what we do from that collaboration and networking perspective, because you and I are prime examples of what that looks like
right,
within the coalition.
right, right. Well, it's the awareness of, I see you. I like your platform. your success is our success. We network with one another. We get to know one another nationally. So, through the web series, this is where everybody can come around and kind of talk. We have the different platforms. And then also the encouragement of doing business with one another. Now, I'm saying just like you do business with anybody else, you do your due diligence. You check out the person, you find out whether you can do business with them or not. But at least start there. Promote one another, and then if you're traveling or something like that, you have someone that you can network. If you're going to California, you should be able to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, I'm going to be in your area." Da, da, da. And this is what builds up our community and makes us stronger.
Excellent. And one of the things that we talk about often is everything that you just said within that realm of collaboration and networking can mitigate that sense of marginalization, because that
Right,
whole thing with the certification and all of that, that's marginalizing, right?
right,
And
right, right.
fostering that stronger sense of belonging within
Yes,
community in that safe space. So we
right.
create safe spaces also.
Yes, the
So
She Talk is our safe space. That's where we're
yes,
able to come
yes.
together and it's not recorded, and what goes on in there stays in there, and that's our safe space that we can talk about issues that we as Black women can can share with one another, learn, empower, and come up even with solutions and things like that. So yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we are quickly running out of time. So what are those final remarks that you would like to leave? And I'd like you also to call out the website for the
Yes,
coalition
sure.
so people can go and visit and learn more about it, become a member, and
Right.
all that good stuff.
Well, one of the things I want to say is that we are here to celebrate one another, to work with one another, not talk to talk, to really actually do it. And you can contact us through uscbwb.org, visit our website. All the information is there. Get involved, join, let's build, because this is about building.
It definitely is about
Yeah.
building. And again, I want to kind of defer back a little bit to how our relationship
Yes,
got built over the course of time. And it
yes,
actually, when you think about it, it started with you using my business. And then once that our relationship began
yes,
to blossom through that collaboration and networking and all of that, here
right.
we are as members of the coalition,
Coalition.
leaders of the coalition. So
Yes,
I just want to just finally say I'm glad I met you. This has
I'm
been
glad I
an
met you too.
incredible, incredible journey. And for
Yes,
those listeners out there, go out there, find out about this woman, Deidre Hellberg, and learn about the coalition.
yes.
Look at the pluses of the coalition and how it can actually benefit you,
Yes.
benefit your business, giving you that visibility. So, what is that absolute final thing, one sentence that you want to leave with our audience?
You are valued.
Yes.
That's it. U.S. Coalition of Black Women Businesses say you are valued. That's it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So again, my name is Anita Russell. I am the Vice President of the U.S. Coalition of Black Women Business, and Deidre Hellberg, the founder and president of the coalition. We have just been engaging in this incredible conversation, and this is just the first of many other
Oh,
conversations. So make
yes.
sure you stay tuned to this platform to listen, to learn, and to engage. So I thank you very much for taking out the time to spend with us, and we will see you the next time on the She Sparks, a moment with the power of
Or
she.
she. Bye.